and welcome. Violin, Shakespeare, a basement science lab, the legacy poets, and a mother who taught a socio-political appreciation for world cultures through a Pan-African lens, a mother who taught to ask the important questions: what's the lie? What's the truth? Who are you? These are the things that shaped the growing up years of Detroit native Semaj Brown, our guest tonight. Marriage brought Semaj from Detroit to Flint a while ago, where she has worked in community health and the arts, trying to make us all feel better, to share the secrets of well-being, trying to make us all do better. She has written in poetry and prose, of veracities and vegetables for entertainment and enlightenment. She is poet and public thought leader, guiding us all to what we may not have considered on our own. Her reading tonight in our conversation is Mother Ocean, The Making of a New Tribe, from her 2019 book, Bleeding Fire, Tap the Eternal Spring of Regenerative Light, described as an odyssey in African-American history and culture, part memoir, part social commentary, part magical realism. I met Semaj last summer quite by accident, and isn't that how the most interesting relationships usually begin? I'm delighted that she's with us this evening to discuss all kinds of things that give us life and lead us to well-being. So good evening, and welcome to an evening with Flint Poet Laureate Semaj Brown. I'm Deb Conrad, pastor of Woodside Church. My pronouns are she and her. Woodside is hosting tonight's event, and I'm so happy to gather with you all for what I hope will be inspired and inspiring conversation. My experience of conversation with Semaj has been enjoyable, fraught, and righteous. Perhaps inspiring is usually all those things. To begin, in just a minute, Semaj will perform her work, Mother Ocean, Making of a New Tribe. She and I will discuss it in a bit, and then we'll open it to you all for questions. I would be remiss not also to introduce our behind-the-scenes guy, Adam Schmidt, who will do all things technical, making sure we have what we need to do what we intend to do. Thank you, Adam. It is best if you jot your questions in the chat, please, and Adam and I will watch for them. If you know folks who want to watch, you can direct them to semajbrown.com or Woodside Church of Flint on Facebook, where we are streaming tonight, both those places. We want everyone to have this opportunity. I'm also going to be the clock watcher tonight, and we've committed to 90 minutes. I always like to honor folks' time and appreciate that you've carved this hour and a half to share in a poetic meandering this evening. Also, please let me say that Woodside offers this program at no cost, as with all our programs, part of our work to create a just world. If you're inclined to make a contribution to support this and other programs, you can find a link on our website to do that. If Woodside is new to you, I invite you to peruse our website and find out more about us, woodsidechurch.net. I hope you will find something that moves you. All that said, there is no more reason to delay. Semaj, thank you for being with us. I hand it to you.
Thank you so much, Deb. And thank you to everyone who is here, everyone who registered. We're very, very grateful. And also those people who are watching the streaming. I won't get started until I see my image so that I know everyone can see my image as well. I'll need to be able to see that before I get started. There I am. Well, thank you, everyone. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Mother Ocean, The Making of a New Tribe. In this piece, there are two voices. One is of the little river girl, and the other is Mother Ocean. And when I performed it on full stage, there was a little river girl. And what she said is, I talked to the ocean. I asked Mother Ocean, how long after Middle Passage did it take to heal your daughters, make them whole? Mother Ocean answered with stilled serenity, it's been 400 years. I sculpted them from promise. They were complete in the beginning, throughout, and remain whole today. Their memory was stolen. Their memory was stolen, could not remember gold of Benin or family compounds, a Kabylon antiquity birthing science, Timbuktu, world center of trade and scholarship, Moorish Spain, the military brilliance of Queen Nzinga, or origins of Iron Forge French Quarter, could not remember their original tongues of Fula and Yoruba. Little River Girl, Mother Ocean began to swell her waves. She continued, I fashioned each death new, folded feminine fluid into flesh, pooling ancient memories floating in time. They were recreated from the scarring flow of centuries, formed by amniotic river that pulse their veins. They speak the language of water now. And water is spirit. And spirit remembers. I am the ocean, remembering when they cannot. Water is spirit, and spirit remembers. I am the ocean spirit, remembering when they cannot. My daughters came to me, Mother Ocean, as cargo in chains on death vessels that heave frothy blood in the crest of my waves. My daughters came to me, Mother Ocean, shredding skin, decomposing wombs, fodder for sea monsters and new world rapists. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and youngs collapsed into the inconceivable lap of violating current, descended to maritime grave, asphyxiated by the horror of what was yet to come. But on my ocean floor, I rocked them in a crucible of seaweed and succour, coddled them in the ebb of oral incantations. I washed them with those two aquatic lovers, hydrogen and oxygen. I cleaned and christened, purified and baptized their white bone skeletons in briny, blessed assurance. And as ocean, I followed that tide of dripping gore across myself to the shore of servitude. I never left my daughters. I persisted in all my forms, sometimes water vapor, whispering dignity. Sometimes hailstorm, summoning the strength of Ella Baker ancestors. Little River Girl. Again, I asked Mother Ocean, how long How long after Jim Crow did it take to make your daughters whole? Mother Ocean lifted. Waves flew like blue tarpaulin, rose and fell, dredging sand and civilization into her amorphous body. She spoke. Seems like eternity, yet it is but a drop. But in every drop, there exists eternity. They were always whole, even with captured memory, even with lynching, Tulsa Holocaust, execution of their godmen husbands, mass incarceration, medical apartheid, waterboarded psyche. They were always whole. My daughters' brains, their brains are incredible, masterful, cerebral filtering systems, always filtering faith from fear, hope from horror, triumph from trauma. Get ye behind me. No weapons formed against me will. And I'm not giving that any energy. Filters. An anointed, amazing grace sieve, where gray matter that matters lives. These daughters of ocean, of rain and drizzle, water cycle alchemy, aqua rising from the intros of Atlantic, ascend with the power of bubbling geyser, shooting aspirations vertical from the deep silt of sea, made fertile with the blood from their people. They are reverse waterfalls standing erect. Reverse waterfalls standing on water, standing on the swirling testament of their ancestors, standing on water, standing in boardrooms. Say her name. Standing in courtrooms, say her name. Standing in legislatures, say her name. Standing in hospitals, say her name. Standing in science, say her name. Standing in uniform, say her name. Standing on street corners, yes, say her name too. Standing in shelters, say her name. Standing, driving, Sandra Bland, say her name. Standing, sleeping, Breonna Taylor, say her name. standing in educational institutions in the lofty halls of academia, standing as athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, accountants in kitchens with blue collars and white collars, standing in service as maids and waitresses, standing in wealth, ooh, yes, and affluence, and standing in poverty, standing on her knees in poverty, on her knees in prayer, in churches, standing in poverty, on her knees in synagogues, in mosques, standing on her knees in poverty in the altar of indigenous ritual, standing with humanity, standing up, standing up, standing up, grandmothers and grandchildren, standing up, standing, in Lansing capital as unlikely activists against state-sponsored poisoning of 100,000 Flint residents. Mother of Eden, original prototype of opaque skin and eyes of stained glass wisdom and legacy washed hair, gravity defying hair, hair of galaxy rainforest stretching to heaven, Sirius B star of celestial strands. I tell you, water is spirit, and spirit remembers. Water is spirit, and spirit remembers. Call it our ocean intuition. Call it grit. Call it Holy Ghost. Call it ancestral angel fire. Call it Black girl magic. How else can you explain these hidden figures? Female frequency sculpting formation with water pick chisel. How else can you explain an Oprah, Nina Simone, Dr. Jemison, Dr. Gloria House, Mrs. Edith Prunty Spencer, Mother James, Ava DuVernay, Michelle Obama, and Harriet Tubman, and 50 fantabulous Flint women who represent the named and the unnamed, showering constellations of supernova stars who became the women of this new tribe.